had this laid out in 2 footings, but by the time you mess around and dig around the big piers, you're going to lose most of that anyway. So I just decided, another reason I did it, it's easier to drag that dirt since I'm having to stockpile 2 different types of soil here. We've got this black stuff on top. We're trying to keep it separated from the gravel. We're going to use the gravel to backfill. So, but anyway, this is just another way of doing footings that, you know, on this far side over here, I've always called it a sawtooth cut, or a, you know, you don't get in line with the footing, but you just basically dig straight down, make a sawtooth type pattern, and then you kind of you can kind of wipe it out sometimes, but it's turning out pretty good like it is. I think you can see it, or you can tell that it's saw cut, but this way I can sit over here on this side of the ditch. I can swing my dirt away from the ditch we're digging farther, and I can reach everything between here and there. So this is the fastest way to dig this out. Otherwise I'd be trying to swing the dirt. We'd be laying it on the layout on this ditch, and if we did that, it would, you know, we'd just have to come back and lay it out again. So this saves on layout, it saves a little bit of time, but we're trying to keep this stuff separated out so that we're not mixing the gravel with the, I mean, we're getting a little bit in it, but a little bit's not going to hurt anything. But anyway, but this pad's all built out of gravel, so it's a little different to dig than dirt. Now on the right here, this is all dirt. Texas gumbo, I think is what it is. I don't know what it is, but it's nasty stuff, pretty sticky. So what I'm doing is just basically cleaning the top of this off, taking that nasty stuff, and we're putting it in one pile, and then we try to keep the clean rock in another pile here. So hopefully that makes sense what we're doing, but I just kind of wanted to explain it. Pretty neat job. There's a lot going on out here. I just saw 5 loads of pipe come in, which that means the utility guys are probably fixing to start digging ditches around here, and that's going to get interesting. Usually, you know, everybody's got to get in here and get their work done, but these jobs are always changing. They're always getting new contractors in, different subs come in. So what you'll see one day will be different than the next, but it never fails. It seems like you always go from, it's pretty nice when you start out to, you got everybody and their dog out here working at the middle of the job, and it gets more congested, more crowded. But this is a big project, though. I mean, this is one of the biggest projects I've ever been a part of. We've done some big warehouses before, some big tilt-up buildings before, but never anything quite like this. These footings are ridiculously heavy under this building, and it's just an interesting project. But this won't fill up with concrete. This will all be formed up. So once again, it doesn't really matter exactly how straight I am on this or how wide. If I'd have left a little piece in the middle, it would have saved a little bit of backfill, but most likely, you know, like I say, once you cut out the clearance space so you can put so that you can build the forms in here, you're going to end up with most of it out anyway. So that'd just be another trip hazard. The guys setting forms, they can walk between one side and the other without having to jump up and over it. Save a little time. you're digging footings, I mean, that's something you got to keep in mind is you need to know exactly what your builder needs, what his guys need, and then when something doesn't look like it's going to work right, you need to stop and talk to them, and you might change plans, you might adjust stuff to where you know, it's usually I don't just make a decision like this without talking to them. I mean, I'll usually kind of get their thoughts on it too, but we got some big 621Bs running through here, a big D9. I don't know if it was an H. It looked like it might have been an H. I'm not really a big cat man, so I don't know for sure. It might not even been a 9, but it sure looked like a D9 cat. It went down this road over here to my right, back behind me. It's over working. Good looking machine. Looked like they just painted it. It needs a switchblade turbo though. It smokes a lot more than Jeff Anderson's D9. I'll see if I can get some video of it running before I get out of here. I don't know if I will be able to or not, but over to my left, they're pouring some footings in the big hole we dug last, I don't remember, week before last, I think is when we finished that one. And the rod busters over to my left there, they're laying steel, tying steel. Big heavy duty pilasters. Lots of rebar comes in here every day on semis. You can see over to my left by the SkyTrack, there's usually at least 1 or 2 truckloads of rebar come in here every day, I think. Some days more, some days, you know, there might not be a load, but lots of steel, lots of stuff going in this building. It's a big, big project. Some pretty sweet looking trucks hauled the pipe in over here. Got an international Freightliner. Peterbilt, Kenworth, and another Freightliner came rolling through. But my grade man, he's pretty particular. He tries to keep everything exactly on the money. I get a little deep here and there, but the thing is, what they'll do when they come through here, they're gonna have cardboard crush boxes underneath the footing itself, and then they're gonna compact and backfill everything else. So this gravel doesn't really hold anything up. I mean, it's not load bearing, so if we backfill just a little bit, it ain't gonna hurt anything. They usually run a tamper over it anyway before they put their boxes in the hole. But anyway, just big old hole I gotta dig out here. I'm just about halfway through it probably. This is a pretty shallow part of the building. Actually, the footing grade doesn't change, but on this part of the building, the slab of the building is going to be 30 inches thick. So they built this pad about 30 inches lower than everything else. But like I say, the footing itself comes through at about the same elevation all the way across. But after I cut these Sawtooths, or cut this bank over here, I usually kind of come back and sweep the bottom just to kind of clear it up and square it up. But what I'll usually do is try to use that tooth and just put it at the base of the footing there, or the base of that wall, and then just kind of helps to square it up. And that won't be exactly straight. I mean, it's probably going to have a little wave to it, but it'll be straight enough for what we're doing here. get this hole finished today. We may be rained out Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know for sure what's going to happen. I think rain's coming in tomorrow night. But I'm staying ahead of the rod busters and the form setters. There's 2 crews behind me that they set the rebar and then they set up forms, and then the crew behind them comes back and strips. Well, I think the form setters strip their own forms, but then they come back in and they backfill and compact everything. So, and they've got a bunch of it done. There's a Komatsu 78 out here. They've got a vibrate tamper on it, and they're using it to backfill the walls and compact them. All the soil has to be tested for compaction after they get it done. So there's a lot to this. It's a lot more intensive than just coming in and digging a footing, throwing steel in it, and pouring concrete. One of the reasons they do it like this is it's really hard to tie up those real big heavy mats in a ditch. It's easier if you got room to work around them. And the engineers that design these footings, they like to have them, they like to build them like a beam, like a bridge beam. And they're happier if they're not in a ditch. It might be a little bit crooked or a little bit wavy, you know. So it's kind of how the job was called for to be done, so that's how they're doing it. B95 just purring along. No big problems with it. About time to change my oil. I guess I'm gonna have to do it down here. But digging footings and gravel is a little different than dirt. It likes to kind of roll your bucket over the dirt. Some of this is really compacted hard. Some of it's not quite so much. I think because it's out here on the edge of the building, they don't get quite as much compaction usually on it. So. And we got a little ridge of dirt right here that there over the gravel pile. The dirt contractor is still building a pad over here. They're trying their best to get back ahead of us. The weather's got them slowed down, and the pier drillers had to shut down for a little bit, so I'm going to run out of grade beam to dig, but they may put me back on to I've got some trenches I've got to dig across these buildings, so, and they'll be like a big footing, but they'll basically build a trench and build walls in it. It'll be for access underneath equipment and that kind of stuff, I guess. The old sticky stuff, that old red sticky clay is what they're building this whole pad out of, and they are building it wet. I've probably explained a lot of this in other videos. I don't know how much of it I haven't, but if you hear it again, I'm sorry. I don't write scripts for my videos. So anyway, just super big hurry. Like I say, we got ahead of them again, and that's the way I like to stay. I don't like to be the one they're waiting on. I don't think anybody does, but yeah, we'll just slick this off here, and I'll probably turn the camera off. That's about all I'm gonna video for today. I might try to get some pictures to throw in here, but appreciate y'all watching. Appreciate the subscribers, the new ones and the old ones. I appreciate your comments. Appreciate you guys taking the time to reach out to me. Like I said before, you guys are the best part of the YouTube deal. People I meet on here get to know and the ideas, and you know, they're just seeing how things are done in different parts of the world and the country is, you know, interesting to me anyway. But I do like doing this. I do like my job. It makes it kind of like I'm not even working, I think. But anyway, I'll shut up. Probably about enough of me talking anyway.